Good evening. My name is Odie Hawkins, and once again, here we are making an effort to sell some of these 38 books that I've written. Zola, can you come in and help me, please?
I certainly will.
I need a little help. I need a little help.
I'm glad to help. I know you.
A number of things have been happening since we were last here at this table, sipping our. I got this pineapple juice, and you're drinking
Agua.
agua. Okay. We've had some very serious people ask, what are you people doing? Sometimes we see you, and then sometimes we don't see you for periods of time. Okay, all we can say is that we are busy people, and this is not the only thing we do. In a stark, ravingly bold-faced way, we're saying that we're trying to sell Odie's books. I'm Odie. This is my wife, Zola. And believe me, when she starts making an effort to sell things, you better buy.
Well, we try.
Otherwise, she'll make you feel bad. I'm just kidding. We've been dealing with a number of things lately that have kept us busy, and I'd like to fill you in on them. We are beginning to make a story live on the blue line. Yes, that's the way to put it. It's a book I've written called Black, White, and Brown on the Blue Line. It's a story about vignettes of people traveling from downtown Long Beach to downtown Los Angeles.
That's just one train in Long Beach. And there are other trains, like in Chicago, it's called the L train.
L train.
Okay, and so there's similar situations throughout the cities and throughout the world.
Okay, almost every place you can think of that has rapid transit. I don't know what the Japanese, they have a Japanese super train that goes from one part of the country to the other at 90 miles an hour or something. Anyway, one of the things that always happens in these trips is that people wind up having some relation to each other that they may not have known before. I don't know about the Japanese train, I forgot the name of it, but this is super food. On the L train in Chicago and here on the Blue Line in Los Angeles, people have a way of getting to know each other, to meet each other, to love each other, hate each other.
Familiar strangers.
Familiar strangers.
You know, familiar strangers.
Psychologically, there's a whole frame of reference about that. How it is that we become psychologically friends by becoming familiar strangers. In Black and Brown on the Blue Line, the familiar strangers give their stories to us. They tell us things about themselves and about the culture they come from. There's a whole mixture. There's a Korean taekwondo master who meets a woman who's offering to tell his future by giving him an astrologer's card. Call me up and I give you a reading and so forth. Something you never would have thought about doing. Anyway, these things take place. They're happening. We have assembled some people that we call the Ancestral Meridians Ensemble. You know that word, I always want to say ancient. I want to say ancient meridians.
But some of the instruments are a bit ancient.
Ancient.
Okay.
Okay, Ancestral Meridians.
It's honoring the ancestors in a sense.
That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what they're about. They stretch. The meridians go all the way back to these ancestors. And the stories I've written about the ancestors in real time are people who can go back into their ancestors if the story is told in a profound way. Backed up by the language itself are three musicians that we're calling Ancestral Meridians Ensemble musicians. One is Brother Brock, who is blowing a saxophone. Brother
Lloyd.
what's his
Lloyd
name?
Leary. Lloyd Leary.
I did that on purpose because he's gonna scream. You know my name. You don't know my name at this point. Yes, say his name again.
Lloyd Leary.
I call him the Great Lord Leary. He blows a didgeridoo, which is an Australian magical instrument, and he blows several other instruments in addition to playing the giant gong. Mm-hmm. So he's a very talented musician. And then I play congas. I'm not Mongo Santa Maria or Amanda Barazza, my forefathers, but I do the best I can. So we're getting together with the people who will be reading from the book Ancestral Meridians, Zola Salena-Hawkins, Patricia Forte, Tim Hutchinson.
And people flushing it out. We're flushing it out.
Fleshing it out.
We're fleshing it out. And so one should stay tuned for the podcast and perhaps eventual stage performances of Ancestral
Meridians. You're having problems too. Okay. One of the things I like to do before we come to the end of all of this is talk a little bit about something of the creative process that brings us into wanting to do this kind of thing. Like, somebody saying, well, who are these people?
And why'd you do that?
And why'd you do that? And since you were the one who did the outline, which I have right here in my hand, guilty of sin, you are.
I am.
Zola, talk to us a little bit about the creative process. Let's start off
from the day you're born. From the day you're born, and you look at newborn babies, like there's my niece Bella and Bella Johnson, and when she was born, they showed a picture of her in the delivery room, and so she came out with eyes wide open and a little fist, like, don't mess with me, I just came into the world. And she's been a creative force ever since. She does ballet, she does karate, she's a great artist, and she's only, I believe now, 8 years old. But some babies are ready, they start walking. Russell was walking when he was 9 months. All right. And then he met some other children and he decided he would crawl because he saw them crawling. And it's the creative process of how you pick various bits of gold.
Okay, I can relate to the unexpected being occurred, but how do you adjust to this unplanned event? How do you? Okay, you mentioned Russell, right? Who was looking at Korean soap operas. How old was he?
He was not in school yet, so I'm thinking 3 and 4 years old.
3 or 4 years old. So he's been chatted about a Korean soap opera.
3 and 4.
How do you adjust to that particular unplanned event?
Accept.
No. Ooh.
You have to accept. Okay, there's some things you cannot change. You may not need to know. You may not know the reason why, but you don't need to know the reason why. You just need to be open enough, loving enough to accept that this is what this person wants to do. And at 3 or 4 years old.
So you accept a person as the person at 3 or 4 years old.
Okay, he is not me. He was himself. And so I'm saying, you don't want to look at Romper Room. You don't want to look at Mr. Rogers. You want to look at Korean dramas.
What gives you the catalyst for having that kind of understanding?
I think my own upbringing.
What's that mean?
Well, my own upbringing was more, I would say, structured. I'm the granddaughter of a minister who graduated from Tuskegee University. My grandmother was a nurse. So was my mother. She's a nurse practitioner. And so I was very much, I'd say, bourgeois, middle-class upbringing. And I tend to a little bit rebel.
I would tend to argue with you about that.
Yes.
The reason why, and I know this is going to sound radical, no black person in this country could be considered bourgeois, middle class. I know. It's a title that you could assume.
Right.
But the minute you say I'm in a certain class, it means that the police can no longer grab you out of your car.
Oh, no.
Drape you across the fender.
Never thought of that. No.
Yeah. Well,
but
it's a nice